Hi, I'm Joe for Lonesome Studios, and today's video is on getting you and your music more exposure. This time, we're focusing on a specific tactic that more and more artists are using to build fan bases from the ground up. Crossing genres. You've heard it all before about how blending genres and influences will create your unique sound and enable you to gain a real foothold in the music industry as an artist that the world has never heard of before. But crossing genres isn't just about creating a unique artist identity. It's also got far more practical benefits to building your career. So let's talk about those. It's generally common sense that sticking strictly to one genre's rule set is going to limit your growth far more than any other artist who mixes and plays with various genres. And this isn't just to do with creating a unique sound. It's about widening the potential range of your listeners. Successful new artists almost always blend genres, sounds, influences to create the basis for their own one-of-a-kind music. But increasingly, we are seeing artists completely switching genres from track to track. But surely that means that their music lacks cohesion. And how do they build a fan base if your first track is a hip-hop track and then the next is punk, the third is folk? Maybe that's an extreme example, but genre crossing and genre switching generally have a strategic benefit to new artists. By doing this, you're doubling or tripling the potential appeal of your music. It's a deceptively simple tactic. If you stick solely to hip-hop, you'll only attract hip-hop listeners. Release a hip-hop folk track though, or a straight-up folk tune, and that's a second community of music listeners that would be interested in your music. The more genres you incorporate into your tracks, the more music communities can be attracted to your stuff. If you're looking for some successful examples of this, then think no further than Taylor Swift. She was already popular in her country days, but then dominated the world when she transitioned into pop. Her two most recent albums, Folklore and Evermore, are indie folk records first and foremost. With each genre switch she made, she added another massive community of music listeners to her potential fan base, and it was extremely effective. If you're a hip-hop artist and want a bit more of a relatable example, then Taylor. Think about Vic Mensa, Machine Gun Kelly, Rico Nasty. All three of these artists blend hip-hop and punk in their own way, with Vic Mensa probably being the prime example of an artist that completely switches genre from release to release. Now, love it or hate it, the hip-hop punk scene has been soaring in recent years, thanks to the pioneering artists that appealed to two bases of music listeners rather than just one. By genre crossing, you can capitalize on multiple times the growth rate of an artist who only sticks to one genre. The core part of marketing your music involves becoming part of existing online music communities, such as r/hiphop heads on Reddit, and building a good reputation there. Now, the more genre boundaries you cross, the more communities you can become part of, meaning that statistically, your music will reach double or triple the numbers of people than if you just stick to one genre, one community. Any new artist should know that making it onto Spotify playlists is a pretty big deal. Now, whether your track gets added to an official Spotify curated playlist like Who We Be, or an independently created playlist like Pigeons and Planes, a big playlist can be your one-way ticket to success. These playlists are almost always separated by genre. So guess what? Just like how genre crossing widens your potential listener base, it also increases the potential number of playlists your music can get added to. For the best chance of success, you want to pitch your music to both Spotify and independent curators. The process for Spotify playlists is pretty streamlined. You just need to go onto your Spotify for Artists page and submit the unreleased track you'd like to feature in their playlists. It's best to do this a few weeks in advance, before the track's release. Spotify staff, they have an unholy amount of songs to sort through. You want to give them enough time to find your track and prepare it for playlisting. Submitting to independent playlists, however, requires a bit more work on your part because each one has a different application process. But you probably have a greater chance of making it onto an independent playlist rather than one of Spotify's, so it's well worth it. The most important important thing to remember for both of these is to do your research. You've made a track that genre crosses really well. Now it's time to research all the relevant playlists that you can. The more time it takes, the better, because that means that you're finding loads and loads of different genre playlists that your track would fit into. So keep a list and apply to each and every one of them. Remember, just getting your track on a decent sized playlist is a massive success. So make sure to cross genres. You can apply to more playlists, massively increase your chance of landing a life-changing playlist position. Now there's one more type of playlists that I haven't covered yet, and that's Spotify's Discover Weekly. Discover Weekly is one of the biggest, if not the biggest source of new music discovery on the entire internet. Now, if you're a music listener in 2021, chances are you spent a fair few hours exploring your Discover Weekly. Unlike other playlists though, it's not curated by humans. Instead, Discover Weekly is run by an algorithm. This algorithm pays attention to what Spotify users are listening to and where to place the tracks in their personal playlists. Spotify explains it further by saying, let's say you've been playing a song by The Killers and a song by Bruce Springsteen a lot. Algorithms look for how those songs are played and ordered in other people's Spotify user playlists. If it turns out, when people play those songs together in their playlists, there's another song sandwiched between them that someone has never heard before, that song will show up in your Discover Weekly. But what's that got to do with genre crossing? Well, it's just another practical benefit. If you're landing at more playlist spots thanks to your multiple genres, your chances of success don't end there, because Discover Weekly operates on playlist placement. You know, the more playlists you're on, the greater your chance of ending on Discover Weekly playlists across the world. And remember, Discover Weekly is probably the internet's biggest tool for discovery. This video can be put really simply in one short sentence. More genres, more chances for success. Whether you're looking to appeal to 2 or 3 music communities rather than just one, or you just want to optimize your chances of getting placements on important playlists, it's always a good bet to experiment with your genre. Don't be afraid to play around with boundaries and find your own sound between the lines. And as always, it's not just the exposure that you'll be gaining, it's more creativity, inspiration, innovation, and that'll drive your music career forward even when the going gets tough. Remember to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and stick around for more music industry advice from Lonesome Dog Studios. Now, if you're interested in working with me or any of the other members of crew of Lonesome Dog Studios, then be sure to check out lonesomedogstudios.com.